But let's talk about the play calling in this game too. We talked about it, how they just abandoned the passing game entirely on the first half of the game. You cannot win in 2024 in the NFL if you are not passing the ball. And I'm not saying you have to pass it as your primary offense. I'm not saying you have to be, 2-to-1 passes to runs. You can run the ball more often than you pass the ball. That's 100% an option. But when you have only thrown the ball, I think it's 4 times in the first half. I don't know the stats in front of me for just the half there, but I think it's only 4 times. Yeah, so he's 4 of 4 for 0 yards, if I remember correctly, in the first half. You cannot do that. Especially because if you look at the plays it did, a 1-yard toss to Theo Johnson, a 6-yard loss to was it Wan'Dale Robinson, I believe, had that loss. That's the kind of things we're talking about here. It's just why do you think that's okay in 2024 in the NFL to do? And why is it that the Giants as a whole have trouble with either the run or the pass to be incorporated with the other? It seems like at times all we do is run. And at times all we do is pass. You saw in the second half of this game even they reverse course. They just we're not gonna run the ball anymore. We're just gonna pass. You were down by 2 touchdowns. There's no reason to abandon the run in the second half, basically, because you're down by 2 touchdowns. And I get it, the Giants don't score very often. I get it, the Giants have trouble doing 2 touchdowns in a game, let alone a half. We said that during the game, during the live play-by-play. But there is no reason to think that you can't just go ahead and mix it up. Do a run, do a pass, maybe another pass, then a run, maybe another run. I don't get this. I just don't get it. This is at what point do we go, you know what? The play calling sucks. And Brian Daboll looks in the mirror and says, you know what? This is on me. I need to change up what I'm doing. I need to stop doing that. I need to go ahead and mix it up better. Or I need to let somebody else take control of this. People thought it was Mike Kafka who was the problem with the play calling. Based on this year, guys, it's not looking like it's Matt Kafka at all. Looks like it's 100% on Daboll. Because Daboll's the guy doing the plays. And I bet you if this was last year and this was going on, he would have taken the play calling away from Kafka point blank. Said, this is wrong. You are not handling this offense correctly. But instead, because he's doing it this year, he hasn't done that. And that actually, and I've been one of the guys who have been very big on supporting Daboll. And I think a lot more than some others have. That is a leadership issue right there. If you could berate, like it was accused of last year and everything, your coaches, and complain about them when they're making mistakes, and people complaining he was going over the top with his complaints even. But you can't look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not doing this well. I need to give this to somebody else or change up what I'm doing. That's on you. And that's a really damn bad look. Absolutely a bad look. Because you can't go a whole entire half abandoning the pass, and a whole other half abandoning the run, and then look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did a good job today. You can't. Because if you look at that first half, they were moving everybody up like crazy. Don't tell me, guys, we're going to be open deep. When the safeties are playing like linebackers, the linebackers are moving up with the line at that point. Don't tell me somebody wouldn't have been deep. Don't tell me we don't have deep options even, too. You got Slayton, one of the fastest players in the NFL. You got Hyatt, potentially the fastest player in the NFL. You got Nabers, who is known all throughout college for taking deep shots at that point. You got Theo Johnson, who did get a deep throw later on in the game. You have plenty of options to throw to. You got to take the shot. You got to take the shot. As Anthony says, Drew with Jones as the QB, there's no deep option. There's got to be. It's not an excuse as far as I'm concerned. You can't keep trying to hide the inadequacies of Daniel Jones. If that's what you're doing, then your biggest mistake is what we talked about initially, keeping him in the damn game. If he can't throw the ball deep and you have no confidence in him doing that, then you got to let him go. And say, I'm sorry, you can't do this anymore. Take some time off. Regroup for next year, and hopefully you're better for somebody else. And have that conversation with him. Because as bad as he is playing, are you telling me anybody else wouldn't have been benched for that? You're telling me you want to bench Banks last week for effort issues, all the issues he's had. And Jones, while he's been a great effort guy, like I said, I have no doubt in my mind he's given it as all he can. Effort don't matter when you're not putting up results. What kind of message are you sending this team when you're not benching the guy who has been absolutely horrendous? It's like I said, it's getting to the point where Daboll's starting to lose me, and I've been a very big supporter of his, I think. And it gets to the point where your play calling sucks, your accountability, both on yourself and on the team, sucks. And now you're staring down the barrel of being one of the worst teams in the league right now, guys, with no sight at that changing. Because as long as you're keeping Daniel Jones in there, guys, how can you possibly see this team turning around? Like I said, you got to do it. You got to go ahead and change the play calling, whether it's changing it and taking it out of Daboll's hands again and giving it back to Kafka, or Daboll himself just recognizing the mistakes he's making and changing it, or you have to go ahead and just make that decision at that point to give Kafka the job back at that point. One of those two has got to happen. You can't do it like this. You just can't. It's just so frustrating, and I'm sure it's frustrating for you all as well. So, feel free to air out your frustrations in the comments section, guys.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.